There was a name embroidered on the corner of the handkerchief. Kang Jun-seo stopped. His father's old handkerchief, once white, now yellowed throughout, folded flat. He had found it pressed into the back of the innermost drawer of his father's desk while sorting. He unfolded it carefully. Old soft cloth, and there at one corner, embroidery. Blue thread, letters, small and precise, 3 syllables, Yun Seo-yeon. And when he unfolded the handkerchief all the way, something fell out from the inner fold. A tiny piece of paper, folded very small. He picked it up and unfolded it. His father's handwriting, pressed firmly with a pen. Old but readable. This handkerchief belongs to Yun Seo-yeon. 20 years ago she left it behind. I should have returned it. I could not. She said she was from the village across the river. Find her. Return this handkerchief. Let her know that what she forgot here is still here. A name Jun-seo had never once heard. Yun Seo-yeon. Not from his father. Not in 23 years of living together. His father had kept this handkerchief in a drawer for 20 years. He should have returned it but could not. Find her. Let her know. His father had died 52 days ago. Before dawn, he had come out of his room to find him on the floor. Heart failure. His heart had been weak for years. The evening before had given nothing away. Dinner, television, the usual cough, bed. Nothing more. The funeral had passed. His older brother came from far away and left after 3 days. Jun-seo remained alone. His mother had died when he was 15. After that, he and his father had lived together in this house for 23 years. Now only Jun-seo remained. He had not moved a single thing from his father's room. For more than a month he had put off sorting. Today he had finally made himself go in. The desk, drawer by drawer, and at the very back of the innermost drawer, the handkerchief. His father had been a quiet man. Not warm, but not frightening. Simply still. He swept the yard. He walked briefly in the alley and came back. He set dinner on the table each evening. They ate and watched television and said very little. For 23 years, Jun-seo had never once asked what his father was thinking. His father had never offered. That was how this house had worked. And this handkerchief had been in that drawer the whole time. For 20 years, with someone else's name embroidered on it in blue thread. The next morning he went to find the oldest resident of the village. A man named Park Hyung-jun, close to 80. Who had known his father since they were young. He showed him the handkerchief. He pointed to the embroidered name. He said it aloud, Yun Seo-yeon. From the village across the river, he said. The old man looked at the embroidery. He thought for a moment. Then he said, Yun Seo-yeon. I know that name. She worked here in this village for a while when your father was young. A woman. She came over from the village across the river. Worked a few months. Then went back. It was more than 20 years ago. I do not know where she is now. But when she was here, your father was different somehow. Something in him. That is all I noticed. I did not ask. Through inquiries over the following days, a name and number were found. A woman named Yun Seo-yeon was living across the river. In her early 60s. The timing fit. He called. A woman answered. Low and quiet. Jun-seo said, my name is Kang Jun-seo. I am the son of Kang Min-ho. My father died 52 days ago. I found a handkerchief while sorting through his belongings. A name is embroidered on the corner in blue thread. Yun Seo-yeon. The line went quiet for a long time. Then the woman said, Min-ho has gone. Her voice changed. Just slightly. A little heavier. She said, I would like to meet you in person. He said, I will come to you. She said, tomorrow. The next morning he took the early bus with the handkerchief in his coat pocket. An hour and a half. A village across the river he had never visited. Warm April wind. Spring, completely here. The river sounded alive. He found the house. Flower pots in the yard. Spring flowers opening. Someone had tended this place carefully. He knocked. Light clear footsteps. The door opened. A woman in her early 60s. Half white hair. Lines on her face. But her eyes were clear and present. an old apron, a gardening glove in one hand. She had come in from the flower pots. She looked at him for a long time. Then she said, "You have Min Ho's eyes." Jun Seo could not answer. They sat across a worn wooden table. On one wall, neatly arranged sewing supplies, spools of colored thread, needles, an embroidery hoop. This woman worked with thread and cloth. He placed the handkerchief on the table, then the note beside it. She looked at the handkerchief. She reached out and picked it up, then stopped. She held it in her open hands and did not move. She ran her fingers slowly along the embroidered corner, the blue thread, the shape of the letters, her own name under her fingertips. She looked at it for a long time. Then she read the note, slowly, from beginning to end. She set it down. Her lips moved very slightly without sound. She said, "Min Ho kept this for 20 years. Jun Seo said it was in his desk drawer. He never said a word about it. Not once in 23 years of living together." She was quiet for a long time. Spring wind at the window, the river outside. Then she spoke. 20 years ago I worked in that village for a few months. That is where I knew your father. We worked at the same place. He was a quiet man. Good. When I left, I forgot this handkerchief. I realized later, but I could not go back to retrieve it. I left it behind. That was all. Jun Seo asked, "Is the embroidery something you did yourself?" She said, "Yes. I embroidered my own name on it. I liked to do that when I was young. Put my name on things I made. This was one of them." Jun Seo said, "My father kept it for 20 years. He could not throw it away. He could not return it either. So he left a note for me. Find her. Return this. Let her know that what she forgot is still here." The woman held the handkerchief in her palm and looked at it for a long time. At the embroidery, at her own name in blue thread. Then she looked at the note. Let her know that what she forgot here is still here. She said slowly, "I think I understand why he kept it. He could not throw it away. But he could not bring himself to find me either. 20 years of that, and then at the end he trusted his son to carry it forward." Jun Seo said, "I will say what my father could not say. He kept this because he could not let it go. That was his way. And at the very end, what he asked me to do was to find you. To let you know. That was what mattered most to him." The woman looked at Jun Seo for a long time. Something old moved through her eyes. Then she bowed her head slowly and deeply. She held it down for a long moment. When she raised it, her eyes were wet at the inner corners. She did not let it fall. She said, "Thank you, and thank your father. He kept what I left behind." Would you have needed to know exactly why your father kept a stranger's handkerchief for 20 years? Or would the fact that he could not let it go have been enough of an answer? The woman set the handkerchief on the table between them. She looked at it. Then she said, "Take this back with you. Min Ho kept it for 20 years. It belongs with his son now. You came today. That is enough." Jun Seo received the handkerchief with both hands. Light, soft, old. His father had kept it at the back of a drawer for 20 years. He had not been able to throw it away. He had not been able to return it. He had left it for Jun Seo to carry back. He came home after dark. He went to his father's desk. He opened the innermost drawer, the place where the handkerchief had been. He placed it back, along with the note. He closed the drawer. His father had been a quiet man, but not a man who threw things away easily. He had kept someone's handkerchief for 20 years, because he could not find the right moment to return it. And at the end he had asked his son to do the one thing he could not let her know. That was who his father had been. Jun Seo had learned one part of it today. Perhaps too late, but today was enough. What is held in silence is not always empty. Sometimes it waits in the corner of an old handkerchief, embroidered in blue thread, for 20 years. Waiting for someone to open that final drawer. Waiting for someone to finally let them know. If this story stayed with you, the next one begins here too.